In Nyatike District of Kenya, an area that borders Lake Victoria and edges inward toward Migori town, the economy is tenuous at best. Fishermen work along the lakeshore, but this is becoming more difficult as the lake is being depleted of fish stock. Small farmers grow tobacco or vegetables. Their livelihood is threatened by the recently unpredictable climate. Tourism has been a major source of income in much of Kenya, but there is little to draw foreigners to Nyatike except development work. The area is rich in gold ore, which is scattered in the rocky terrain, and so mining that gold is the main source of income. To see this happening is like a walk back in time, as it is done manually using techniques that are accessible to small communities and individuals. Men and women sit in small open pits and chip away at the rock to get chunks from which gold will be extracted. There are also hand-dug mines that run to about 40 feet deep and under hillsides, like a series of rabbit holes. These are dark and dangerous. They collapse with regularity, causing several deaths annually. Young men are let down into the mine with a rope, where they chisel away and send rock back to the surface in buckets. Once the specific rock that may contain particles of gold is gathered, it is crushed into a fine dust. At one time this was done manually, but recently large, noisy, rotating drums, runoff generators, have become the common way of getting the pieces of rocky ore broken down into a powder. The fine dust is then taken near a water source, mixed into soupy mud, and run over a trough that is lined with burlap. The fine sediment seeps through, but the coarser elements, including specks of gold, remain fixed to the burlap, which is then washed with water and mercury. The gold sticks to the mercury, which is squeezed through a fine cloth, leaving little gold nuggets behind. The muddy sludge can be run repeatedly through the trough extraction process, and the people tell me that they can even extract gold from their work clothes that get coated with the ore dust. Sometimes the separation process is done by hand, the muddy mix being panned in basins until a fine sediment remains. This is reminiscent of what I imagine was happening in the gold rush days in Canada's northwest. The gold is weighed and sold to Indian traders who take it to Nairobi for distribution to the global market. The people here fetch about 3,000 Kenyan shillings, about $35 Canadian, for each gram of gold. It takes many hours of very physical labor by several workers to extract this from the rock. The African continent is known to be rich in resources. It is intriguing to see the people in Nyatike District attempting to extract these resources to earn a living. Their methods appear crude and inefficient. The income from this activity is quite variable and the work tedious and hazardous. Women sit by ponds of water which are laced with mercury. They handle and squeeze the mercury through fine cloth with their bare hands. The mine shafts are not well supported and collapse regularly. The noise from the grinding machines is deafening, and the people are exposed to it all day without any hearing protection. These working conditions would not be acceptable or tolerable in Canada, but the people here really have no choice. They are caught in a cycle of poverty that obliges them to find income from any resource without regard for personal health or safety. Half of the community lives below the $1 a day level that we identify with extreme poverty. This same poverty induces women to risk their health by selling sex for fish along the lake landings, a practice called joboya, one that contributes to the high incidence of HIV/AIDS in the region. The current prevalence of HIV in this district is 15%, one of the highest rates in East Africa. Technology is washing over certain parts of Africa. In the cities, the internet, mobile phones, shopping centers, and digital cameras are everywhere. But in rural Kenya, people still till the soil by hand, cut grass with a scythe, haul their water from rivers, boil their water for tea over charcoal fires, use candles and kerosene lamps at night, and pan for a few nuggets of gold in order to earn a living. I often feel as I travel in rural Africa that I am getting a glimpse of what society might have been like in Canada's pioneer days. This may be an interesting diversion to me as I am only visiting, but it must be a challenging life for people who are living it every day. In addition, these people are trying to improve their living conditions for themselves and their families. Community groups, often named women's groups but including both men and women, attempt to find ways to improve the standards in their community, health, education, economic opportunities. The CanAssist African Relief Trust continues to support these community groups by helping them to acquire infrastructure that will allow them to develop. We have provided and continued to fund health facilities, sanitation facilities, school buildings, school computers, and rainwater catchment systems in several areas of Nyatike District. In 2014-15, we will have several new projects that will help these hard-working community groups to edge ahead. For more information about how CanAssist is helping in Nyatike District and how you can contribute to the development of this region, see our website at www.canassistafrica.ca or join our CanAssist African Relief Trust Facebook page.